automotive, defense, construction, and maritime sector. And then, of course, we would like you to interact with us. We would like to create some debate. So we have some questions for the speakers, but of course you will be able as well to put some questions in the chat, and you will be also able to ask particular questions to the different presentations that we are having. We have as well a Slido. So I encourage you to go there. This is the code. Also sorry, so many people is coming. I encourage you to go to the Slido and participate with us, because we'll be showing the different results within the presentations, and it will be a way of interacting. Okay, so just the code will be also put in the chat, and the link to join there, so that you can all can participate and let us know your thoughts and your ideas there. So, additive manufacturing, why? Well, it's not a sort of new technology. It has already been started in the 80s, but from the latest years, we can see that in Europe, many initiatives, companies, projects, sectors already interested and using and starting to develop additive manufacturing, the different technologies with the different materials. So additive manufacturing is in fact a set of technologies that matters in Europe, but still there are big challenges, although the enormous potential for introducing these technologies into the industry. Is this a simple process? Is introducing additive manufacturing in the industry, in the normal factory life and other sectors processes, a simple process? No. And why is that? Because there is not a single solution. There is not a single technology. Additive manufacturing is a set of processes that can be divided in 7 categories. We are not going to go forward there, but within the categories, there are subcategories. And in fact, then we have the possibility of using very different materials for the very different sectors. And each sector, and this we will see today, have different needs and different uses of these technologies. So it's complicated. It's not simple. Moreover, the production is not a single step, although maybe we are used to hear in the news or in other presentations that, well, you buy a printer and you press a button and you get the part. This is not like that. This is at the industrial level. Additive manufacturing in production is not only a single step. You need to consider the complete value chains and to be integrated in the normal factory processes. And these value chains needs to consider design and engineer, simulation process many times, the materials that we are using, plastic, metal, ceramics, concrete, whatever we use, the process itself, the printing process, the post-processing that is also necessary in some sectors and some fabrications, and of course the quality control and even the end of life, now that the circular economy is so important and the Green Deal is over. So it's a very complicated production value chains, but it's not only that. You have to also consider skills and training, business models, and industrialization. And the workshop of today, the webinar, is very much focused on skills of training, because you can see how complicated it is, and then you can see the whole value chain. So we need expertise from people having a knowledge of design, simulation, materials, process, processing, and quality control. So skills and training is something very important that we have to deal with if we want these technologies to be deployed in the industry and in Europe. That's why the Erasmus Plus project sector skills for additive manufacturing, strategy for additive manufacturing, was born. And what we are doing there is to establish a strategic approach for the implementation of additive manufacturing, because of all these challenges that I have been telling you. Moreover, this is a technology or a set of technologies that also helps the digitalization to go to Industry 4.0 or even now Industry 5.0, that we have another name now, to allow digitalization and circular economy within the European ecosystem. Moreover, it's a technology that is evolving every day. So there is a big skill shortage and gaps that we have to tackle. And the current methodologies that are addressing the skills are reaction-based. So something comes, they try to react, but they are not created from a bottom-up process where we decide what is coming on and we are prepared to that. And we need to be. And with the presentation of today, I think we will see some hope in this direction, and also some already baseline for an alignment strategy between the whole processes, I mean the whole sectors in Europe that are going there. So another issue is the fragmentation of the landscape initiatives. That's why also, as I mentioned, we are doing this webinar today. We don't want to be fragmented, but unify, and we will have a common goal to go there from the skills and training issues. So within SAM, we are tackling different gaps and drivers just because we want to support the implementation of additive manufacturing, as I was saying, and we want to define the strategy for the whole ecosystem. So we are tackling different gaps. One of those being try to match the needs precisely to the sectors. We are not yet there, but we are working, and that's why also we invite these other projects to come to set up the basis. So we are working on increasing the uptake of additive manufacturing technologies at different levels. We are also establishing an order to do that. So we are establishing an international additive manufacturing qualification system. So the way we organize it is to set a series of qualification for the different levels in the field of additive manufacturing technologies. But we are doing at the same time in a flexible way, in a modular structure, because as I was saying, this is evolving very fast, and each sector and each technology has its own needs. So we cannot do like a very fixed system, but something that put the basis and the pillars, but at the same time can be combined in different ways. So it has a modular structure composed for units for learning outcomes, and the skills acquired by trainees are successful after the training courses, so we can be there. So from the moment we have already international additive manufacturing metal qualifications already there, and you can check them in the SAM web page that will be shared later. And we have the profiles of additive manufacturing operator, metal IM coordinator, designer, and supervisor for the different processes there and the different materials. But it's not only metal what we are working on, it's also plastics, and we have developed the additive manufacturing polymer designer that is already ongoing, but we also want to cover this part of the other materials, and the others will come in the future. I mean, because for different sectors like construction, we will need concrete or we will need other items. We also are tackling other barriers that I was presenting as well in the value chains. For example, we are doing competence unit in business for additive manufacturing. That is also a very important issue, and others in sustainability, for example, or in certification, qualification, and the standardization. So today, as I said, we are putting the basis for being able to reply to the needs of the sectors. We are not going to solve the world today, but we are going to see what others are doing, what are the needs of these sectors that are currently there or will come in the future, because, well, there are many things going on. And for that, we have four top-level speakers that are the coordinators of the very important projects: drives in automotive, access in defense, construction, blueprint in construction, and mates in maritime sector, that will let us know what are the needs, and we will interact with them for creating a better qualification system that fulfills the needs of European citizens and society. So because we all want to be there with better jobs, better salaries, better welfare conditions, and be able to work with all the skills that we need. But before going directly to the presentations, we want to hear from you. So please go to Slido. You have there the link also in the chat, as I was mentioned. Go there and answer to our question so that we can see what is going on. Okay, just some minutes. Okay, we are going to show Slido results. Okay, wow. So we have a great participation of aerospace and defense, followed by automotive, health, and maritime, because health is also a very important sector that will need additive manufacturing skills. They are already deploying that. Construction is appearing, good. And the people that put others, what that others mean, maybe you can tell us in the chat what that other means. Oh, others is decreasing now, and we are appearing more. Academia and research. Okay, so probably you are working in many sectors, not only one, but you are pushing for R&D in additive manufacturing. Okay, that's also good because we need to know what is coming in the future. We need to know what will be the new tendencies in additive manufacturing precisely to be prepared for that. Okay, so I think I can go back to my presentation. Okay. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more of the people who is here and can tell us also their needs and their thoughts about what we are doing here in SAM and in the other projects, we will continue with the presentations from the other projects. So in the first place, I would like to invite Drives, that is the project directly related to the automotive sector, and they are dealing with the skills that is needed in general. So I would like to introduce our speaker, Jakub Stolfa. Jakun, nice to see you here, and thank you for coming and joining us to this webinar. So Jakun is the program manager and academic staff from BCB Technical University of Strava, where he also received his PhD. He is responsible for the skill agenda in the automotive ecosystem. So you see that we have top-level people with the key knowledge that we need today. He coordinates the DRIVE projects, that is the blueprint from the automotive sector, and also is a work package leader in another project, the ALBATS project. And he recently focused his activities on sustainable and pragmatic approach through the skills agenda in automotive ecosystem, establishing the Automotive Sector Skills Alliance and packed skills for automotive ecosystem. So you see how important skills are, that we already have this kind of activities. He has experience in projects and program management, development of training educational programs, technical background, informatics and mechatronics in the automotive ecosystem. So please, Jakub, please go to the Drive presentation there. Just one small comment before you start. I forget to tell you all that this is being recorded. So this will be available afterwards in the YouTube channel so that you can check all the tests that you maybe miss. So Jakub, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paula, for a very kind introduction. And good morning, everyone. I hope you are having a great day. And I'm very glad to be here at today's webinar and to be able to present you the work that we are doing in the automotive ecosystem and the work that we have particularly done in DRIVE's project, which is the blueprint for sectoral skills collaboration in automotive sector, covering the whole value chain and covering the needs of the whole value chain, irrespective of size of the companies, and also analyzing the gap that is between the skills needs and skills offer in the sector. So let's dive in a bit into the presentation, and I will present you more about the DRIVES project, and then I will also present you the way forward. As was already announced, the skills are a very important topic, and of course, especially nowadays when the industries are changing, there's an impact of the digital and green transformation. So this requires, of course, massive innovations, and these innovations always requires the skills and the skills workers. So we have also established this Automotive Skills Alliance that I will present in the second part of the presentation. But firstly, let's go to DRIVE's project, DRIVE's Blueprint project. It's the project that started in 2018 as in the first wave of Blueprint projects. We are having 24 full partners from 11 European countries. We are still by the steering board, where we are having the full partners as ASEA, CLEPA, and ETRMA, which are umbrella associations in the automotive sector. And of course, the DRIVES partnership, and also when we were establishing this project, we were focusing on that we are having the coherent representation of the business, public authorities involved, the research and education and training institutions, so that we find this great mixture. And speaking about DRIVE's objectives, DRIVE tackle three main streams. First is the sectoral intelligence, the second one is the recognition, and the third one is the training offer. The sectoral intelligence focuses to analyze and develop and implement a strategy to address skills gaps caused by this industrial transition within the automotive sector or ecosystem. Recognition, that's ensure mutual recognition of skills and job roles across the sector. So this is very important also when you gain the skills to be able to recognize them throughout the Europe and to be able to recognize the skills of the workers from the different companies, from the different sector. And the third stream, last but not least, drives also focus on the training offer. So to directly touch the ground, as we are saying, and offer the training courses to address these skills gaps and try to fill those gaps. So drives develop the set of training courses. So let's have a look into the details of these three streams of Drive's project. Firstly, the sectoral intelligence strand. I've just selected here this word cloud, where it shows the results of the analysis that we have done within the sector, and it nicely shows the need, of course, for the technical skills as a big data analysis, software development, mechatronics, material sciences, but also you can see that 3D printing and all this additive manufacturing. And but what's there also from the different perspective is also the need for the soft skills. So we are speaking about the soft skills such as adaptability, flexibility, learnability, communication, which follows the need of continuous up and reskilling of the people also in the working age, and students and the people in the working age as they have to adapt. And basically there is this new model of skills development where the skills are changing really fast, so we have to jump on that continuous learning and education, and also upskill reskill during our work life. And those were the selected results from the analysis. We are having, of course, more results included in our deliverables that are available on the website. But where we were focused for on job roles and job roles need and offer, drivers of change also influencing the sector, apprenticeship specifics, and also sector attractiveness. And this overall intelligence gathering and analysis within the automotive skills agenda, including desk research, survey, led us to designing the strategy and roadmap, so-called sectoral skills strategy. And we had the first release in May 2020. As foreseen, we have updated it by December 2020, and we are now working on the latest update by December 2021. And the strategy and roadmap includes correspondent key actions directed to sectoral stakeholders. So that on the right side of the slide, you can see the key actions that we have drafted there. And I would like to just highlight the key action 1 and 2, which allows us, and that's establish reference, recognition of skills and job roles, and harmonized approach to education and training offer. And this allow of creating EU-wide database or framework of the training courses and its providers linked to reference definitions of job roles and skills. And this will naturally bring an overview about the coverage of job roles and skills versus trainings and education offer. That's what we are working in Drive's project, and that's what I will show you later on this tool. Then these go hand in hand with the following key action 3, 4, 5, that overarch innovative and modular training provision together with harmonized approach directed both to lower and higher levels of education. And key action 7 and 8 ensures the involvement and commitment of large number of key stakeholders, building a sustainable ecosystem for continuous cooperation on upskilling and reskilling of the workforce in the automotive sector, while retaining attractiveness for recruiting in the sector. And that's something that I will then present you within the Automotive Skills Alliance. And also, just an overview of some of our results. Within the sectoral intelligence, we have also specifically looked at the apprenticeship marketplace. So where we have also identified key main actions to be taken and the recommendations. What is apprenticeship and how to further support it in automotive ecosystem. So that some of those actions are adopt more innovative ways of designing apprenticeship comparison tool, that will support and help the employees and individuals to navigate the apprenticeship landscape and where are the offers. And also we are working on the establishment on the central resource of good practice in terms of apprenticeship design and delivery, so that you can see and learn from others, because of course there is many interesting initiatives across Europe and projects and project results, and it's always important to learn from others. So this good practice sharing is really important. For that, we have also established good practice resource tools where you can see the link on the slide. So that was very quickly the first stream, sectoral intelligence. Now I'm heading to the second, and on that first slide it was the third stream, but second in the detailed presentation, and that's the training offer. Training offer, as I said, we have focused on that. We have analyzed what kind of skills needs are needed, what kind of job roles are needed, and we have defined 40 job roles, and this is also available freely on our website, including artificial intelligence technician, machine learning engineer, connected vehicles expert, automotive cybersecurity engineer, and others and others. And those are described in the form of the definition of the job role and the elements that fits under this job role and the skills that the job role needs and on which level. So this is available. We are having also skills browsing there, so you can have a look at those job roles, what we see as a new or emerging in automotive sector. And then based on that work, we have also within the partnership defined 28 massive online open courses that are freely available, and these are online courses that we offer through our DRICE learning platform. We offer there also, in parallel to those courses with the training interaction, some kind of blended learning, where you can register and go through the course with the trainer. And these training courses are designed a way that are free of charge and could be used directly by the companies through the system to upskill and reskill their employees, or by training providers in their trainings. And I'm glad to say that till this time, we are having more than 1,200 registered participants and to those courses in our DRICE learning platform. And getting to the third stream of DRICE project, and that's the DRICE recognition of skills and job roles, where we have defined a pilot version of EU-wide framework of harmonized competencies that will be reference for upskilling and reskilling of current workforce. As it was said at the beginning, that it's very important to define what kind of competencies are needed and describe them. But on the other hand, we have to be really pragmatic and flexible, because this automotive industry and all other industries are changing rapidly. So that when there are some skills needs, when there are some job roles described, we need to find a way that these qualifications, these job roles, needs to have a process that could be flexibly adapted. So we have defined this EU-wide framework, which is linked to ESCO database and is somehow the sublayer of ESCO database. So building on the ESCO database, but creating sublayer specifically for the automotive ecosystem. And it is some kind of electronic version of the competence metrics that is being used by in industry, where you can see the job role, where you can see the skills needed, and on which level those skills are needed there. On the other hand, this database or framework doesn't allow just the definition of the job roles and its skills, but on the other hand, it's having also the set and the list of training courses that are put there by the providers and linked to those definitions, and that allow us to have the firstly overview of the training courses throughout the Europe. That helps to get the direct training path. If you go from the certain job role to the different job role, you can see what kind of trainings you need to take on one-stop shop service in one place. And then it also allows to give the digital badges, some so-called micro credentials in your individual learning account, which you have included as an individual in the framework. And you can see your progress, or your company, if you allow, can see your progress. So that's of course, now in the pilot version. So that's the ambition where we are heading to. Tool is ready. We also collaborate with some project to get the definitions, to get the reference definitions to the framework, because it's very relevant additive manufacturing to the automotive ecosystem. So we are very pleased that we are having really close collaborations, and the definitions that were designed by the project are included also into the framework. And by that, I would like to also encourage you to go to the framework, check the website. If you or someone in your network is the provider, or is the provider, can register and offer the courses and link them to those definitions. On the other hand, you can also search for the courses that are available there. So that's the structure of the framework. As I have said, left side having like sub layer of ESCO with the job roles and competencies and skills for those job roles, like the electronic version of the competence matrix. And on the right side, having the training and education offer what is available there. And this is linked throughout the level of the skills offered. So all that available on Drive's Compass website. And the way forward. So that was the key selected results of Drive's project. But of course, it's very important to work on in the sustainable way on the skills agenda within our and others ecosystems. So we have designed the stakeholder-wide and EU-wide alliance that is called Automotive Skills Alliance. And we have launched this alliance in November 2020 as the part of the Pact for Skills partnerships, as the Pact for Skills is the flagship action of European Skills Agenda that was released in June 2020. And we are happy to serve as the umbrella, as the framework for continuous, sustainable, and pragmatic collaboration within the automotive mobility ecosystem. And we are now having here 75, more than 80 supporters. And this is built on the results of Drive's project. This is built also on the results of our sister coherent Albat's project, which is the blueprint project focusing on the batteries for electromobility, which is also highly relevant to the automotive ecosystem. But not just that, as I have said, those are two selected projects that we have built the alliance on, but there is a plenty of different and very important initiatives all around Europe that we support to mainstream further, and also that others could learn or could learn from that or join that. So we are proud to have the Automotive Skills Agenda. Here is the list of members, and we include, of course, the industry view, the skills needs, skills offer. We include also the training providers view. So again, to be able to offer and close these gaps. There is also social partners perspective, which is also really relevant for that the ecosystem is going to the transition. But we have to also have a look at that. What are the needs of those people that are going to the transition? We are speaking about thousands of people, but at the end of the day, people are not numbers. So we have to have the direct approach to that, how to support the people to go through this transition. And we are also, as the alliance, and this is some kind of also rollout of the results of Drive's project to the regions. So we are proud to have the number of regions that is supporting us and the member of the alliance, and where we actively roll out our results. And we are, of course, in touch with the other regions that are joining, because the regions on automotive ecosystem is a plenty. So that's something what we do, and we are, as said, bringing this continuous pragmatic and sustainable collaboration, and on the European level, but as well as on the regional levels. And one of the ambitions of the Automotive Skills Alliance is to upskill, reskill 5% of the workforce each year, which results in 700,000 people. But to get there, we need to get there through the pilot projects, because the real change is happening in the regions and the regional on the regional workforce. So that we support the pilot projects in the regions, and I'm proud to mention here two projects that we are having already as a pilot project of ASA, Automotive Skills Alliance. One is in the strong automotive regions, the Stuttgart region in Germany, and that's the one-stop shop service for the SMEs to answer all questions in the field of upskilling, reskilling. And the second one in the preparation is in the Moravian Silesian region, where the region is preparing the massive upskilling, reskilling action to support the transition from coal and mining region to the new green and digital automotive industry, to support those workers that are working in diminishing industry to the new green and digital industry. There is an aim to support and upskill, reskill 5,000 people. And as said, skills are the motor and enabler of innovation. And as it's written on the side, some are becoming an increasingly rare and critical raw material. So on the one hand, on the first hand, basically, people are afraid to lose a job, and because their job will be not here in a few years. On the other hand, the industry is struggling to attract and recruit the qualified people. So the skills and the skills agenda is very important, and I am happy that I was able to present you few results of our work, what we are doing here. As said, we are happy that we are having close collaboration with some project, and if you are having any questions, remarks, please ask me now, or of course during this webinar, or you can also follow our project or the Automotive Skills Alliance, or you can follow me directly or contact me directly to the email. Paula, back to you, and thank you very much everyone for listening.
Thank you, Jakub. Very interesting presentation and very key points that you raise. Create a common framework. This is very important and also something that Sam wants to do it. All the paths and all the things that you are doing there, the implication of regions and the RIS3 strategy, this is another key thing. So, and of course, collaboration and openness. This is also very important because, as you said, jobs will disappear or some of them will disappear, but new opportunities will come, and even with even better quality jobs, who knows? So we don't want to be sad. There is a hope there. So I don't know if there is any question for Jakub. If not, we will continue and then we will can later. So I don't see anything in the chat. Gabriel, yeah, there is a hand raised somewhere from Lucia, I think. So please.
Hello, I liked very much this presentation, and I just was wondering if you could build a little bit more on how have you focused the recognition of this framework, because I believe this should have been a quite complicated task for to coordinate.
Yes, definitely is a challenge. And the recognition, how we build it, it's something that maybe if I still may share a screen for a second, you can also have a look at that in this DRICE framework that we have developed within the DRICE project. And you can see here about, and if I find it well, that's the DRICE framework. And the important perspective on that is, of course, that there are VT providers on ECVET, there are ECTS, ECVET providers on tertiary and secondary education, and so on and so on. But make it short, of course, there are certification bodies and the rules that are followed, and we are the addition to that. We do not destroy what is existing. So there is plenty of certification bodies or accreditation bodies that are having already their rules of the quality that the providers needs to follow that if they would like to issue the certificate for their trainers. So those trainings are recognized through the certification bodies, but we are building something in parallel to that, of course you can still offer the certificate through the certification bodies, but there is this framework where you can plug in your framework, say that you are having this certificate for that in parallel, but in parallel you will receive the digital badge on the different level, because we are linking that directly to the skills so that it's I would say more readable for industry, because we look at that more from the industrial point of view, where in the industry you are having job roles, skills, and on which level that job role should have that skill, awareness practitioner, expert. And that's something that we have more followed this perspective. Yeah. So, and of course the framework is linked to ESCO, so we are having ESCO definitions and the addition to that. So we are having also some videos for that. You can also log in and basically create an account, try to go through. Of course, now we are in the pilot phase, so we are gathering basically the left side, the reference definitions, and also the right side, the offer. So you can see we are having different working groups, and there is also additive manufacturing, where you can see some job roles from that, or skills from that. We are having also job roles from that, but the same we are having for the different job roles that we are trying to cover. And when you look to the training courses, that's that right side, and I'm trying to be short and do not steal all the time in the webinar. You
Yeah,
are
because
having
we need to continue.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
So,
exactly. So we are
yeah.
having here, and you can basically filter through that, and also recognition. And then there is that you can, as the attendee, you can see your achievement, your badges, and so on. But I will stop presenting. I will stop here. But very challenging task, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for the question. You see that there are a lot of information and you can keep in touch afterwards. This is also an opportunity for networking, although it's Teams and we cannot touch, but at least we can contact somehow. And hopefully at some point we will do something presentially and it will be more live. So thank you again, Jakub. If you have more questions, you can put them in the chat or address to him directly. You have the email from the presentation that will be shared afterward to our participant. But now we have to go to the defense sector. So I welcome Walterio Fantoni from Assets Project. Thank you for joining us as well. So Walterio is an associate professor of University of Pisa in Italy, president of Pisa Learning Lab, founder of Lab Fab Pisa, and 3 university spin-off companies. Has a master engineer in mechanical engineering from this university in 1999. PhD in robotics, automation, and bioengineering from this same university. His research interests are in Industry 4.0, robots, grasping, handling, and feeding system, and natural language processing software applications. He has wide experience in pattern automatic analysis and technology for SAR, and he has more than 100 publications. He led several projects from Erasmus Plus to Horizon 2020 and Framework Program, and he's leading the Asset Project, from which we want to hear the nice funding for the defense sector. So please, Walterio, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Paula. Okay, the project is Asset Plus, is an alliance for strategic skill addressing emerging technologies in defense. Thank you for inviting me. I try to do my best for presenting this project that is that started in 2020. So the results are not so advanced as the previous show. We are almost 32 partners, 9 education and BAT providers, university, 7 companies, the big one in Europe about the defense and also aerospace, and 13 organizations in technology transfer, belonging to different countries from north to south, from east to west of Europe. Our goal is try to create a sustainable human resource supply chain for the European defense industry. We have a few technologies to deal with, and in detail, our goal is to understand, anticipate, and formalize the defense skill needs in these days, so every changing technological fields. And we want to do that for designing training courses and developing a European defense qualification system. But let's see them better in detail. So understanding means collecting industrial needs, but also try to meet simultaneously educational requirements. On the other side, we would like to anticipate by relying on both artificial intelligence and human expertise in order to extract technologies out of document in an automatic way, but also fill the gap by using human expertise, in order to map the technological evolution and to understand later how to extract or connect the skill with the identified technologies. Then we will group the skill into job profiles, maybe existing or even new. What are the technologies we are dealing with? Mainly software. The only one that contains also hardware is the first one. The first one is about robotics and unmanned vehicles, plus artificial intelligence. The second one is specific technology for the defense, going from command and control to target acquisition and recognitions, and also cybersecurity that is spreading all over our life, both in the defense, in the civil, and also in our daily life. The strength of the partnership, thanks to the 30 group of colleagues, help us in developing or understanding this field and in future to develop specific courses for upskilling and reskilling the labor force. The idea is designing an European defense qualification system able to survive beyond the time span of the project. And we want to do that by creating a defense training network in order to have the critical mass that allows the defense and industry to generate this network of companies willing to be upskilled about some technologies. On the other side, we have the education system and providing a quality assurance system able to making the skill taught portable all around this company and in the different countries is something that is fundamental for the entire ecosystem. The industrial validation done by internal partners and by external experts is fundamental as well in order to create harmonized training courses and qualification for the sector and letting people to port these competencies all around Europe. So increasing the mobility and the portability of what they learned. Our approach is try to use both the machine and human. So human in the loop in order to teach the machine, not learn, but teach. What we did, we started in 2020 analyzing documents coming from different sources, from Scopus to Indeed to Monster to ESCO and so on, almost 50K, even they are more, but that's okay. Then we analyze the technology extracted automatically out of this text in order to predict their evolution, doing some technological foresight. Later on, we matched with the one present in ESCO, and if not present, we try to understand why. After this automatic analysis, we asked for an industrial validation. And because the defense is a particular sector where things are not always public, we try to involve experts in order to fill the gap or to say something that is not written in reports. And later we create roadmaps with them. So the approach is the following. We started analyzing whatever document we could find in order to extract technologies, applications, skills, and job profiles. And the 3 domains brought us 97 technologies, 59 application, 172 skills, and almost 200 job profiles identified. On the other side, we have the expert knowledge we would like to use for understanding the future in a future-oriented way. So not thinking only about what happened in the past, but also try to understand what could happen, so possible future scenarios. At the present moment, we had 3 sessions with 50 ideas generated per session. And also we try to explore both technologies and application, job activities, and also education and training. The result of this analysis are a few roadmaps at the present. The goal is try to identify a technology and defense application, and on the other side, who are the people we would like to hire in future. And for doing that, we have to understand what is the maturity level of each technology, how it grows, and if it is a final technologies or it is a critical one. So in the value stream of the technology, we have to understand what is the abstraction level. And almost the same should be done for what concerns people. So understanding the degree of specialization, understanding the degree of knowledge and what is the level of the demand in the labor market. The result is try to merge them, we obtain something like that. So by analyzing the co-occurrences in the different documents, we can obtain maps like the one that are able to link the technologies with skills and with application. One of the important sources at the end is ESCO, where we try to reproject what we discover. And the result is not only for what concern technological skills and technical job profiles, but also what are the transversal or soft skills and occupation that are, however, related to the defense sector. What we found, the kind of job spread in the 3 areas, and we asked our industrial partner to classify what are the most relevant. And you see on the right the result of this analysis. At the end, we found 14 new skills. We proposed to update the definition of 8 of skills in ESCO, and 4 job profiles have been shown to be updated. And 1 new job profile has been found as well. The result was an interaction with ESCO, and recently they released a new version with the new profile we discover integrated within the ESCO framework. But the analysis, that was the automatic analysis, but for understanding the future, we also like to work with our expert. And in particular, we developed with them a new framework called the C4AID, where you can see the command control communication, but also the cybersecurity, the artificial intelligence for the defense. So all the other elements more typical for the sector. What we did, 3 brainstorming sessions, 1 vertical for a particular defense area and the other horizontal. So keeping experts from the factory, from the land, from the sea, all of them interested or expert or professional in artificial intelligence and in cybersecurity. Just to say some of the result for what concern AI robotics and autonomous vehicle in sea, they said that machine learning on the edge is an important technology to be understood, and understanding both potential and limitation. For what concerned the second, they said that there's need of a cybersecurity architect, but also chief product security officer, and for sure developers. And for the last one, AI, they would like to make their people more aware of the real limitation of artificial intelligence in order to not buy without understanding. And these one are the roadmaps we obtained for robotics and for cybersecurity. So putting together all the elements, we were able at the beginning or in the middle of this year to develop competence units and learning outcomes, and also to integrate with a specific pedagogical approach for teaching adults. And we try to validate the design research, the design and activity, creating syllabus and pedagogical guidelines, but also validated by experts. And now we are going to pilot this activity. We designed almost 100 ECTS for 56 educational training activities. You can see we spread from among different EQF level, from the lower to the highest. The more you go up, the more they are vertical. So you can see the color separated. While you are in the lower level, the more the courses are more on awareness. So they are mixing elements coming from the different domains. If you want to know more about what we did and how, you can have a look at these 2 papers recently published on International Journal. But we are trying to build also our strategy, and the strategy started from the Europe's technological plan, the action plan on civil, defense and space industry. They describe them by using the safety belt concept with 11 actions that are the following. Probably some of you knows them. Analyzing this document, you can see what are the single word and the multi-word. You can see that there is a binomium between civil and defense, a focus on critical technology. So the shortage we have now on microelectronics is something we have to think about. But you can see that doing activities or thinking about defense space and civil application means also linking with research, innovation, and the skills are not only technical but also managerial ones. Our concept is slightly different because defense is not civil. If you have an ordinary situation, you can use a 3-point seatbelt. But if you have something of higher value, or if you have a performance that is very critical, you need something that is more robust. So if you want to protect what you care, you need something like that. And here you can see what are the policy and the action described in the European document and European action for the sector. We are focusing on the defense, for sure. For us, the human resource mean skills, education, and application. We analyze physical, digital, and also green technologies. For sure, we are monitoring both policies and fund in order to link them with the companies, the SMEs and large enterprises in that sector. For sure, we need standardization for what concerns technologies, the sharing of best practice, but also qualification, certification, and a strong link with ESCO. We are monitoring the evolution of the technologies by analyzing the tier AL. On the left side, understanding who are the actors for each of them and who are the best players that are pushing the technologies forward. And on the right, what are the funds for doing that, in order to feed our companies with this information. And it is the end, but I know that we are in a meeting where we should discuss something about AM. And I cannot do that on my role of asset coordinator, but I did something in the past. The first machine I worked on was in 1998. It was an SLS additive manufacturing machine developed by my boss. Then in December 2012, I founded the Fab Lab in Pisa in order to spread the competencies about additive manufacturing. And then I'm teaching AM from 29 in my course of non-conventional machining. And for me, additive manufacturing at the present is mainly for prototyping, also for space and for casting. But let me explain what are my targets. My targets are static, but mainly dynamic components, mainly in superalloys for the sector. So, okay, we bought this machine last year at the university because Baker Hughes is one of most important customers for my department that would like to do experiment on this machine. It is a laser sintering. Actually, it is a direct metal laser sintering, but that's okay. But what we can do, we are producing components that have a very high variability on their weight, for example, on their resistance. And it is quite hard to think that these components can run at a very high speed. In my opinion, what we could explore, that is a space for additive manufacturing, is changing a little bit the perspective. Because if I go thinking about shell molding, and I think to build something like that, it is very, very high costs producing shells by using these parts. So why not using laser sintering for pre-coated sands and obtain the mold, the shell mold, for then casting the metal? And the other possibility is using the 3D printer or the wax printer for creating components. Here you can see something in the jewelry, but I would like to say that there is something like 5,000 years we are using this kind of technologies. And the lost wax is very interesting for the aerospace too. So in my opinion, there is space for using in a different way the additive manufacturing also for very critical component in the aerospace domain. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for this overview about the assets project. And what you're doing also putting a framework and anticipating the skills for this sector that is also very important and progressing, and also for your sense about additive manufacturing, that in fact is a technology that the defense sector is using, and the European Defense Agency already proved it by a feasibility study that was done in 2017 with the approval as well of NATO. So it's something important that will come to the defense sector, and it's good that you are also well, having in your future scope there in the project. I don't think we have time for questions now, because we have we need to arrive to the debate, but you have also the contacts from Walterio. You can still put them in the chat if you wish. And now I need to welcome the construction sector. So Silvia, welcome to the floor.
Hello.
Silvia is a senior international project officer from the Fundación Laboral in Spain, of the construction Fundación Laboral. She has been working in the field of training and employment projects since 2007 already, in different economic sectors. She joined this Fundación Laboral de la Construcción in 2017, where she was participating in different innovative projects aiming at improving the skills of workers in the construction industry. And she currently coordinates at technical and strategical level the construction blueprint, from which we are going to hear now how they are tackling with the construction needs and how additive manufacturing will come in the future. So thank you, Silvia, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Oh, shows
Thank you very much. I'm just sorry looking for the presentation here.
I think your microphone is very, your voice can, sorry, the rest of the people,
Mine?
if you can,
Mine, you mean?
yours now, if you can speak.
Can you see my presentation now?
Yeah, it's not in the presentation mode, but we can see it. So if you can.
Okay, I can put the presentation.
And please put your microphone more close to your mouth, because if not, we cannot hear you very well. Thank you.
Okay. Now? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Paula, for your presentation, and thank you very much for your invitation to share some of the results that we have had in the project until now. It is very interesting, this kind of seminars, because it's wonderful to see how other blueprints, which are doing the same activities and with the same purpose or final objective, but doing all the activities with a different approach. So it's kind of very, very interesting. Okay, so for my part, I am going to show you some brief presentation, brief overview of the construction blueprint project. Okay, this project is, well, it's 4 years long, so it's kind of complicated to put everything in 15, 20 minutes, okay, but I will try to stick to the time. It started in 2019, and it will be finished in 2022. Fundación Laboral de la Construcción in Spain, we are the coordinator. But the project is, the consortium is composed of 24 partners from 12 countries. These are 12 construction-based centers, but also there are national sectoral representatives, both employers and training and and trade unions, and also there are 3 European sector organizations of the construction sector. Well, the justification for the project was based on these 2 initiatives from the European Commission, which is the strategy for the sustainable competitiveness of the construction sector and its enterprises, and of course the new skills agenda for Europe that you all know very well. The main information extracted for these initiatives, especially for the first one, is that there is a very important lack of skilled construction workers, and that there is a very big need of new specific skills that are not covered by the BED systems in the countries. So what we need to do is to qualify all the human resources in the construction sector, because as you can see in the slide, there is a 40% of European employers that have difficulty finding people with the skills they need to grow and to innovate. The project is specifically focused on three key topics or three key areas, which are and both of them, three of them, very, very important. For example, for energy efficiency, you already know that there are a lot of initiatives from the European Commission now with the Green Deal and renovation wave, very much related to this topic of energy efficiency. We had this target 2020 on climate and energy. So the thing is that it's one of the main drivers of skills development in the sector, and it is foreseen that for this topic, energy efficiency, some millions of workers will need to be trained or updated in this field, not necessarily only directly related to construction, but also indirectly related to the sector. Also, we have the circular economy. Well, you probably know that the construction industry has a very, very important impact in the environment. In Europe, the buildings involve 40% of energy consumption, 40% of waste, again, 36% of emissions, and 14% of water consumption. So it is another topic that we had to address. And finally, the third topic is digitalization, which is very, very much connected with the webinar that we are dealing with today. But in the construction sector, let's say that additive manufacturing or 3D printing is not as developed, okay, as in other sectors. In this case, we have identified that the BIM methodology, the building information modeling, is one of the main drivers of this technological change. Okay, and even this BIM, which is now very much, let's say, integrated, still has a lot of, or we have to do a lot of steps forward to finally integrate the technology in the companies. Okay, the main objective for this construction blueprint project is to develop innovative, relevant instruments to address skill shortages and gaps, and to match what is demanded by the companies, what is provided by the bed centers, and what are the skills that the workers own at this stage currently. So in our case, the target are construction workers and bed students from the construction environment, but focused on levels 3 to 5. Okay, they are, let's say, the medium qualification level. We are not dealing with the high qualified professionals. Also, construction companies are target of the project, and construction bed centers, of course. So for the outcomes, there are some available results that you can find available in the construction blueprint website. We have this PESEL analysis and status quo report on sectoral skills. Both of these documents are very, let's say, they are analyzing what is the current situation of the sector, and especially dealing with skills on these three topics that we are dealing with. Of course, as with the other blueprints that we have been listening before, we also have developed a roadmap and an action plan to deal with all the skills that should be addressed or should be acquired by the workers in the sector. This roadmap is well, the whole project, let's say, is guided by a framework that is called quintuple helix model. Okay, which these are different approaches from the political, educational, economic, cultural, and social and environmental fields, scopes that somehow may or are impacting the construction sector. So this roadmap and action plan is divided into these five strategic lines, each of them having different objectives, and these objectives in turn are divided into different actions. Okay, this I don't remember right now how many of them are there, how many actions and recommendations. This document was developed at the beginning of the project in 2019, and it's going to be revised now and updated because many changes have happened in the world during these 2 years. So this is now under revision for updating. Also, we have an interactive map of good practices dealing with skills, and of course, a portal, a website with a lot of information that I invite you to visit. Other finished outcomes that you can also go to the Blueprint project website, and it is important that we have created a LinkedIn group, and you are all invited to join. Okay, I could go very briefly to what is going on right now in the project. What are the activities that we are developing right now? We are creating an observatory. It's a web tool that in essence, it's to be a complement to the European Construction Sector Observatory by the European Commission. We have already implemented a survey towards 2,000 European construction companies. The main purpose for this survey was to know what are the needs regarding skills on energy efficiency, digital education, and circular economy of all these companies, what they need from the workers to acquire. We have just have the first preliminary results, and I think that they will be available for the public in November probably. This survey will be repeated again in next year. And also for the observatory, we are analyzing other aspects are also to be integrated in the observatory at the national level, mainly construction permits, job offers, statistical data, and so on. This is for the observatory. Again, we are also doing, as like in the other blueprints, we are identifying and analyzing sectoral occupational profiles. We have done an exhaustive analysis of the ESCO, and we have selected different profiles, occupations, always taking into account this EQ level 3 to 5 that could be potentially be updated in terms of energy efficiency, circular economy, digitalization. So this is at the European level, and now these days we are doing the same, but at the national level. The idea is to make this correspondence between what is done in or what is existing right now in the countries and what is existing in Europe, and to see to what extent there are some differences or not, and to find what are the skills gaps that we should be dealing with in terms of new skills and competencies acquirement. Of course, we are designing and implementing MOOCs. We have created a model platform. I think it is going to be ready before the end of this year. And on the other hand, we are also designing some BET curricula. Let's say this for the official or regular training, the BET students. This is well, yes, it's going to be piloted already in next year. Okay, and again, this is for this AQF level 3 to 5 and the three topics of the project. And finally, I just wanted to give a few. Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, because I was hearing something.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Just a few data regarding the 3D printing in construction. Okay, because potentially this new technology may imply a revolution in the construction industry. There are multiple examples already implemented in the world, not only I don't know, big structures or houses, as this one that you can see in the slide, but also for smaller pieces that could be used in construction. This technology involves a series of advantages versus traditional construction. For example, it is faster, okay? It is environmentally friendly.
Sorry, there is someone with. Sorry, Silvia.
Yeah.
There is someone with the micro on. I appreciate that you will close it. And for Silvia, just we have just 2 minutes to close. So if you can, please.
Okay. Thank you. It's possible to have more control during the process. It is possible to create complex and more accurate project designs. It's cheaper in terms of staff, human resources, and potentially supportive to those persons with less economic resources. I'm talking about houses, okay, 3D printing houses. But also, of course, there are other disadvantages or barriers to put all this technology into the sector at a high level, let's say. First one is the high investment on the equipment. It's quite elevated. Other thing is that it is needed to have or to count with high qualified workers, which in turn has this counter argument is that if we have to employ these workers with high qualification, what we do with the less qualified, because they could be put out of work because less workers are needed in the end. More obstacles could be the transport of large structures, the durability, the strength, and high volume of the pieces, and the not defined regulations or health and safety standards or quality control standards. In short, there are so many barriers that are doing that this technology is not reaching probably the sector as rapidly as in other sectors. I can provide you with some key data of the construction industry, just in case you are not very familiar with it. Well, as I have said, this 3D printing is in its initial stages, and one of the reasons may be that the construction industry is quite conservative, and probably it's one of the less digitalized for the moment. So still there is a long way to be done, and much work is needed to fully consider this technology as a cost-effective and reliable option for the industry, the construction industry. There are other other key data, for example, that most of the companies are small and medium companies with limited resources. There is a lack of generational change, very few young workers, very few women working in the sector. So I think that much probably this technology will be important, but it's not going to be tomorrow, let's say. Okay, sometime it's needed. And just just to finalize, we have, as I have mentioned, we have launched a survey for the companies in Europe, and one of the questions was related to this construction with this technology in construction, 3D printing. And from this, you see that only 6.3% over a sample of 1657 responding companies said that they need 3D printing to fulfill their activities. So as you can see, it is very small percentage. More data is that 21% consider they are currently high or very high skill in its use, while 63.8% estimate their skill level between basic and middle. So these are the information from the companies and the countries responding to this question. You see that Italy was the one with most companies interested in this kind of technology, and the size of the company is between 1 and 49% employees. Sorry. So this is more or less which is the situation of the project and the situation of this technology also in the construction sector. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Silvia. Unfortunately, we don't have time for questions, but it's very interesting to see also what construction is needing, how the construction sector will be somehow industrialized in the future with different technologies and also additive manufacturing, although maybe it's not now, but it's really coming and faster will be there. But we need to solve the barriers as well in skills and others like regulation and so on. So thank you, Silvia. Now, if you have any question, you're welcome. If you have any question by the chat or directly addressed to Silvia, please, we need to finalize our presentation. So now we go to the maritime sector with Lucia from MATES project. That's Lucia is a graduate in Science of the Sea since 2022. She coordinates the training department of the Technological Center of the Sea, TEDMAR, developing projects to improve the quality of life of the maritime sectors through training, promoting skills at the blue skills and the ocean literacy. She has been responsible of managing about 100 projects of different nature, among them the Axola Training Center, and now since 2018, MATES Blueprint project, where they are creating a skill strategy for shipbuilding and offshore renewable energy sectors. She's also an expert from the European Commission on the ESCO board on the group Agriculture First and Finishes, and she also works in the group of skills and careers development in the blue economy, from the Director General Mayor in 2017. And she also represents the EU Ocean Platform. So she's also in the path of skills. So she has many good connections, Lucia. So that's good because we can have an influence through you as well. So please go, and the floor is yours. Please present us what MATES is doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this so comprehensive presentation. And well, I will present you today what we are doing in the MATES project, and also how are we focusing additive manufacturing, how have we found different needs related to additive manufacturing in the different phases of the project. So let me show you. If we go at a glance, we have a blueprint project from the first wave as the drives. We started in 2018, and we will finalize next year. Indeed, we have changed this information since in the last months. And we are the goal of this project is to create a skills strategy for the future maritime technologies, understanding this sector as the two sectors of the maritime technologies: shipbuilding, which is a more consolidated and traditional sector, and the offshore renewable energy sector, which is a growing sector, more with different technologies which are in different levels of maturity, but with which is also very linked to the shipbuilding sector. So, as in all the blueprint projects, the objective is to match demand and supply of skills. And we are focusing in digital skills, green skills, which are the general focus for all blueprint projects, but also those transversal skills or 21st century skills, as we call them at the beginning of the project, which are being present in most of these projects as well, even if they were not in first instance in the descriptions for the proposals, because as we have seen today, we are finding a huge necessity of improving them, so we can be continuously retraining and adapting our capacities to the changing needs. We also have a focus on gender balance, because we are in sectors which are in which the women are not so present, and when they are not so visible, or in particular activities on the sector. And we consider that we should attract more women to guarantee a continuous growing and more capacities. And we also are focusing in the adoption of the VET standards and the governance of all these products for a continuity beyond the project. And finally, we also have a focus on ocean literacy, because being a maritime project, what we find is that one of the key to attract talent to the maritime could be linked to the ocean literacy, which is defined as an understanding of the connections between the ocean influence in your activity, and your influence in the ocean, in order to be able to do decisions based in knowledge. So what we consider is that more ocean literate people would be interested in coming to the sector and contributing to have a healthier ocean. So we have, as most of the blueprint projects, a lot of different focus. And we are addressing them with a consortium made by 17 partners from 8 European countries, and which assembles industry partners with universities, vet training centers, administrations, also organizations as SETMAR, who we are the coordinators, and we are an interface organization linking the different organizations in the maritime sector. But we have expanded this network with a network of experts and stakeholders from both sectors, and with interest in the capacity building processes for the maritime technologies. We have now more than 200 experts participating in 8 thematic groups, which are addressing the different focus of the project that I have just presented. So with this structure, the approach to develop the strategy and an action plan is a very simple approach, which is quite common in all these projects. We first have a phase for planning the activity with all the skills intelligence activities to align the educational opportunities. So here we identified the training offer, the capacity demand from the sector and which were the gaps between them. Also the future scenarios that we could foresee, considering the trends that are being expected in both sectors. And with that, we shortlisted a series of lines of action, one series for shipbuilding and another one for offshore renewable energy. Once we had these lines of action, what we did was a phase of testing. We designed 11 pilot experiences to test how could we launch this strategy and these action lines in different regional contexts. And then we are now in the last phase, a critical review with the involvement of the different experts. They have participated in all the phases, but mostly in the first one, and now in this critical review, to build this final document of the skills strategy and the action plan. So where have we found additive manufacturing in all this process? First of all, in doing the skills intelligence analysis. We found, I have just made like a section of the project focusing only in additive manufacturing. When we address the shipbuilding sector, we found that we identified upskilling and reskilling needs, addressing several thematics, but additive manufacturing is among those considered of special interest and special needs. And when we identified which were the hard skills gaps addressing design as part of the skills gaps for the engineering occupations, knowledge of design software as CAD and 3D design were among the first ones to be mentioned. As for the offshore renewable energy, this is also similar. We found, we identified a need for hard skills addressing engineering skills, and the example mentioned in the executive abstract is 3D design, among other types of technologies. So mainly focusing on the needs, the skills needs for the design in this case. And when addressing the future trends, this has been addressed by a Delphi questionnaire with 83 experts involved. The Delphi questionnaire is a process in which we made questionnaires in 2 phases, or even more if needed, to fine-tune all the comments from the experts. And we had identified a set of future trends for each one of the sectors. Among the 6 trends for shipbuilding, 3D printing was there, and also for the offshore renewable energy, we had 5 trends identified. How did we define 3D printing? As a manufacturing process whereby design is used to create a physical product in 3D through a computer and a printer. This was the definition that was used in the Delphi process. And which were the results? Well, 3D printing was ranked last regarding to the other paradigm shifters in both questions. We asked, do you consider this paradigm shifter will become mainstream in the future? And we found that 59% of the experts answered yes for 3D printing, which is the lower value regarding the other trends. And regarding the impact of jobs, we had half of the experts considered that 3D printing would have a relevant impact on jobs. But at least all of them consider that it will become mainstream, not now, the moment is from 2025 until 2030. It's quite close, the moment, but let's say that it's not so mature as other paradigm shifters that were considered to be impacting before. And some of the results of this analysis, there were a set of occupations that were considered that would emerge in the sector. And what does that mean? These occupations exist as we have defined it here in the ESCO database, and exist the 3D printing technician and the 3D printer modeler. But when we analyze the sector and the occupations that were relevant, either as primary, either as supporting, we didn't identify those occupations at present. But we consider that in the future they should be in the list of the occupations related to offshore renewables and also to shipbuilding. And with this, we identified also different ways of addressing the updating, reskilling, and upskilling of the workers to get the capacities needed for using these technologies. And we have a huge variety here. In other trends, we found that the experts were more concentrated more their answers in just a few ways of addressing the new capacities. But here we found from lifelong learning, webinars, and on-the-job learning, MOOCs, blended apprenticeships with mobility. So there is a variety of answers in this regard. And finalizing this fast phase of analysis, we build a series of lines of action. 10 for shipbuilding, 12 for offshore renewable energy. And additive manufacturing is among the first priority to training, reskilling and upskilling the workforce in the use of new digital technologies, which include not only additive manufacturing, but artificial intelligence, mechatronics, 3D printing, Internet of Things, cloud computing, and big data. So in both cases, 50 experts participating in this prioritization of the lines of action considered these digitalization needs in first as the first priority for these trainings. So with this, as I said on the beginning, we define. Excuse me. I guess that there is someone with the mic.
Someone again with the noise. If you can please mute.
We defined 11 pilot actions of different nature to test how to launch all these lines of action in different regional contexts. And 3 of them addressed additive manufacturing. So those are those that I will just briefly present. We had one training program addressing workers on the shipbuilding. This was being held in Greece, and it was a training seminar on additive manufacturing and risk management in the shipbuilding and ship repair sectors. This seminar has been held online, and indeed the definition of the seminar and also the decision of addressing this particular field of skill gap was done after a revision of the results of the skills intelligence analysis with the industry and the partners of the project. So then they developed the webinar, and it was quite demanded to follow. We also have another pilot experience which addressed secondary education students and teachers. This is mostly addressed to attract talents to the blue careers and the maritime technologies. And this experience was held in Spain and Italy. with different approaches to integrate transversal knowledge addressing maritime science, STEAM contents, science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. In Spain, we had groups of students and teachers that were preparing their participation in a contest, a regatta, in which they build small-scale boats moved with solar energy. And what we did was some training materials, some workshops to improve their abilities for building the small scale boats and also for creating the groups. We had also a course, a workshop on prioritization and so. One of the workshops addressed FreeCAD and 3D printing to build small scale boats. And among the materials, we have the short video, which is a 20-minute video. It's quite long, but it's just to follow the workshop.
I think we lost you. At least me.
We all
lost.
Yeah.
Okay. So until the time Lucia comes back, we can already launch another Slido question. The second one, that it will be also debate. That is which are the major challenges when using disruptive technologies, including additive manufacturing, in the sectors or in your the sectors that you are tackling. So it will be ready soon in Slido. Please go there. We'll put again the link on the chat, if in case you cannot remember, and you can all participate.
Excuse me, I am back again.
You are back here. Okay, sorry, Lucia.
I had a bad connection, and I don't know where did I lost the connection.
You were in slide 11, I think.
Yeah, yes, I was there.
Yeah. If you can please go quick, because we need to finalize. I appreciate. Thank you.
Okay, so finally, just we also had a pilot experience in which we analyzed the occupational profiles and in one hand, describe the new occupational profiles that we identified that would be needed either because they were relevant for the sector at present and not present in ESCO, either because they were going to be relevant in the future. And regarding additive manufacturing, we identified 6 skills and knowledge items that would be relevant for the 19 occupations most affected by the 3D printing future trend. As we said, it would have a relative impact in jobs, but we had identified how to prepare the occupations that would be affected by this new trend. And this has been transferred to ESCO and included in the new version. So to finalize, we are now in the phase of the critical review of the project. And we held several workshops with mates, experts, and meetings to present the first version of the report of the Maritime Technologies Skills Strategy. We made a set of recommendations for the different groups of stakeholders that would be involved in this capacity building process, considering a structure in which we have to fill 2 main gaps: the gap between the expectations of the potential workforce and the training offer that is available, and the gap between the training offer and the market needs. And to fill them, we consider 5 groups of stakeholders: policymakers, standardization bodies, social partners and professional bodies, and education and training providers and employers. And considering these and all the lessons learned in this process, we developed 32 core recommendations, which may be split in 89 recommendations when we adapt them to each group of stakeholders. which have been grouped in the following themes. And I have marked here those who have any relation with additive manufacturing, which are the cooperation among stakeholders, the promotion of skills intelligence, and the improvement of training offer, but also the multipurpose skills and the digitalization. We have here the short definition of these recommendations that I will not detail. And to finalize, we are now in this process in which the executive document presented this strategy and recommendations is being distributed among the experts, and you are invited to send us your feedback, and in particular in your expertise field. So here we may have different types of expertise from the point of view of the defense, and if you are interested in participate from the point of view of the maritime defense, please, you are invited, and especially from the point of view of additive manufacturing, we have the document open until the 13th November this year. We have here the contact if you want to send any comments or suggestion. All results are being transferred to the Marine Training Platform, which is a huge platform addressing marine training. And from MAIDS, we have integrated more than 900 of trainings addressing offshore renewables and shipbuilding, and you can consult them. But we are also transferring all the materials produced, because this is a continuous platform that will be much more beyond the project, even if we keep the website for more than 5 years. And lastly, we are also involved in the process of the Pact for Skills. As you know, this is a new instrument that will create these meeting points that may continue the action that has been started by the blueprints, putting together all the relevant stakeholders to create commitments in order to get a better capacity building systems. So from MAIDS, we are launching and coordinating the offshore renewable energies partnerships to launch the pact. And if you are interested, you are invited to contact us. And this is all. We have also the report of the strategy is also linked here. So in some slides, I had some numbers in squares, which are the numbers of the page in which the report expands information.
Okay, thank you very much, Lucia, and sorry for pushing you because it's always time running, but it's my fault. My skills in moderation are not so good because I'm hearing so much interesting things that I don't want to stop doing so sorry about that, but you have as well Lucia's contact, and you can contact them to know what they are doing, because I see that additive manufacturing is very much considered here, and it's good to hear also, so we will keep in touch for future actions. But now I invite again all the speakers to come to the floor, because we have a small debate to which all you can participate through the chat, and as well from the Slido question that we just put it, and I will try to share again my screen. Can you see my screen now? The right question, because can you see it?
Yes.
And it's the right question there, right? Okay, so we have put the question in the Slido, as I said, and we want to hear from at least some of the speakers, because we don't have maybe time for all. But what are the major challenge when using these disruptive in technologies? I'm not referring, of course, to additive manufacturing, but what happens in the sector when something new comes and you have to start deploying it? What are the main things that are coming to your colleagues, to your collaborators? Who wants to start? No one?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, Silvia, please.
Okay. Yes, I have also replied to the Slido, so maybe I am just repeating myself, but okay, I think that in the construction sector, the main issue is that it is quite conservative sector, okay, and it is a strong resistance towards the change. So this is, I think that the sector is somehow reactive rather than proactive. So they start to use technologies when there is, I don't know, some kind of directive from Europe, let's say, or some recommendation or whatever. But it is difficult, not for the, let's say, for the high professionals, okay, but yes, for the smaller companies and the core general workers.
Okay, thank you. So, Jakub, what do
Yeah,
you think in the automotive?
thank you very much. And of course, I believe I will not be surprising with my answer, but major challenges and challenges, of course, that these technologies and of course, I'm not an expert on those technologies, but they are being integrated into the production process and maybe also prototyping and other processes. But what comes to my mind is, of course, again, that we need the people that are able to use those technologies, implement them, design the product in relation to the usage of those technologies. So basically, for instance, yesterday I was at some secondary school that is really advanced and is having also a study program for the automotive electronic systems, and basically what I saw is that they are having really a lot of labs that and a lot of devices for 3D printing, advanced, basic, and the students are using that in their work, in their final works, and so on. But when we spoke about it, is that already in your education program as such? Is it there? Do you have some subject to use that, or do you have some maybe project subject where you can use it as the part of that, and that's something still which is being implemented to the study program. So that's some kind of example that this is here, we are having that, but all those new skills and of course following the technologies needs to be integrated to the initial education. So we are speaking about secondary and tertiary education, but also to the further offer in terms of adult education and lifelong learning. So we are getting there. It's of course step-by-step approach, but we really need people that know how to use these devices and how to make it in practice. So that would be my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we have like two race. We have to be faster than the technology development and to be educating new generations, but not forgetting the current workforce and job seekers that are also needed to be maybe really skills and quick, because this is really coming, not only additive, but other things that we were hearing, artificial intelligence, 5G, Internet of Things, and this will all come together. So we have to be really prepared, and there are many things ongoing because life now is too fast. So we will go to next question because we are running out of time, but of course you can put your thoughts as well in Slido, as I was mentioned, and then we will check it later on. We go to the next one. We have here a little bit from Lucia already, but she can explain better now. Which are the currently and the main additive manufacturing related professional profiles that are now demanded or are the ones to be required in your sectors? So maybe Lucia, you can start because you were already mentioned that in your presentation.
Indeed, we have the 3D printed. I think it was the technician and the 3D printing modeler that are going to be demanded. But we also found that we need some skills in different occupations, especially in the engineering ones and the naval architect and different occupations that should have these new capacities. And also, and here I will link with the answer of Sylvia, because there is a need for awareness raising among the decision makers in the sector. If they do not know about the advantages that this can bring them, they are not going to start the process to integrate it in these new technologies in the different sections of the process. And here also in our sector, we have the challenge of having a sector which is non-serial. we are not, there are few processes that are so serial as we can have if we think on building cars or other type of sectors. So the applications could be different in the different contexts.
Okay, thank you. Walterio, what do you think for the fence? You were already from your own experience.
Yeah, sometimes, in my opinion, the problem is not. Well, I don't understand the Portuguese you're writing in your email, but in general, I think that people are not aware of the limitation. They are going after the promised result, and they prefer to buy instead of study. That's the limit of the technology I see. If you use the technology, if you are aware of what the technology can do, probably you use the technology better.
Okay, thank you. Someone else would like to say something? Jakub?
I just agree with that what was said. Of course, if you know the technology and if you know how to use it, you can use it better. Yeah. So of course that's something that and that's something that also I believe industry understands, and we always highlight that of course you buy the new I don't know, technology, production line, whatever, but with that comes also the need for this upskilling, reskilling of the employees, and also and have it systematically done so that really they understand how to use it, and the technology is really used the way that it can be effective and really beneficial. Yeah, so agree with
Okay.
that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
sometimes you choose the wrong one because you were not aware of your needs before. So yeah,
That's also the big topic, because of course, and that especially also for automotive industry, you know that in past automotive has really, I would say, midterm plans to know where what is needed, and that was of course also transferred to supply chain and so on. But nowadays, of course, with these quick changes, I would say it's very difficult also to say where it's heading to and which technology will be really used. So that's something that is really disrupting, and of course, at the end of the day, it influences those that are in the supply chain, and the smallest one at the end of the day the most. Yeah. So and that's really tricky if they use the wrong technology, and it's not just about that to know uh, and know how to use, exactly as you are saying, how to use the technology, but what is the right technology.
Yeah.
And it's even developing. Yeah. So even if you choose the right one, it's quite soon, I would say, old one. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I start my introduction as well, on how complicated technologies are, and additive manufacturing in particular, because it's not a single one. Even for some same materials, we have different ways of building with 3D printing, with additive manufacturing. So it's a key thing is also knowing which one you will need and knowing which one is the correct one, and it's not so simple, although it seems. So it's true that at the same time that you need to train your workers or your future coming to your industry, you need to in parallel and in fast, because it's coming, you need to learn on technology, and you need to learn of the right one. So that's why we also need to join forces in that, because it's coming, and well, there are jobs already, although little by little, and we have already put some qualifications, you as well, but we need to really know what is needed, and the process that are coming. Okay, so thank you for your contributions. We already tackled this a little bit, but if you want to comment as well, what are the current professions prepared for the implementation of these new technologies? We already mentioned about this, but if you want to highlight something else, and how does the new sector requirement impact on the skills qualification of professionals working there? How they are dealing now with this? How they are managing the people who's already dealing with this disruptive technology, additive manufacturing? How they manage to be trained to re-skills? Um, do you know about any specific profiles that is needed to be training now? And at the same time, we will put a new question in Slido. That is already our last question about have you received any specific training in IM, in additive manufacturing? We would like to know that as well. Lucia, I think you want
I'm
to.
thinking about if current professionals are prepared for the implementation, and what my thoughts here is that sometimes what is needed is to have some awareness about what is coming and what could you do. And sometimes there may be solutions implemented interlinking different companies and sectors. And I'm thinking on that because if we think, for instance, in the maritime technologies, you found there are several big companies, I agree, but there are lots of them which are smaller ones. And what I have seen in some cases are new connections. For instance, a small service provider that start working with some technology providers on 3D printing materials to build molds and prepare then their pieces. And these kind of things are new ways of connecting the sector with other sectors that should be improved. And for this, what we need are much more transversal capacities.
Yeah, if I may very quickly react, I didn't want to react the first so that I would twist the question, but what kind of profiles? But some project identify that, and that's something that we are also happy that we collaborate, because at the end of the day, of course, we are separate sectors, but there are coherencies, there are, I would say, synergies, and we have to collaborate. So even at the end of the day, even if we have blueprints, we are having paid for skills in the different ecosystems, I really see a strong need for the collaboration and find out those transversal skills, find out those transversal job roles. And that's why we are also very happy. And we are having this close collaboration with some projects and of course with other projects, but I'm highlighting this collaboration here because of additive manufacturing. Job roles are described in DRIVE's framework, and we are using that, and that's what we see that is needed also. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to highlight. Thank you.
Yeah, it's right. We need to be. I think Adelaide wants to say something as well.
Yes, I would just like to add on what Jakub just mentioned. Indeed, we have been identifying for different levels in additive manufacturing, operators, designers, and also engineer profiles for the different processes that the additive manufacturing industry is requiring. For us, it is useful also to bridge and to address the sectorial needs, to understand from what the system has implemented so far, what needs to be included in order to more to respond more concretely to the needs of the sectors. So if there are specific requirements or aspects that we should consider or that we could add on in the system, because it's a flexible system, as Paula mentioned. So we are building it through small units of learning. So it's possible for us to also use and integrate the sectorial requirements within the system so that it can be used and recognized at international and European level.
Yes.
And that is something that we would like to keep working on until 2030, which is the period of the implementation of our strategy as well.
Yeah, so we put like a basis, but it's growing and it's being fed by you as the representative of the sectors and the industry, of course, in our network. So we want to do something that is useful and for the goodness of all the European society when we implement, in this case, additive, but other technologies that will come and join together. So please feel free to share, to use it now, in the future, or when it comes, it will be there for you. Thank you. And now the very last question, so kind of summarizing what we have been talking briefly, unfortunately, in this debate, but we are already over time. What needs to be done to ensure the uptake of the new technologies like additive manufacturing in your sector in the future? You already more or less we talk about it, but if you want to conclude, what will be the main actions from your side that you suggest for us all as projects, for us all as a network, and for policymakers, for example, that we can also transmit to Commission or to national and regional governments? As it was mentioned as well, regions and nations also need to play a role and they have to accelerate in the process. So if you want to draft some brief conclusions on that to close the session, I will appreciate. I don't know who wants to start. Adelaide, you want to break the... Lucia, you are very first. Thank you.
I would repeat myself maybe, but in my opinion, we need to make a lot of efforts in these transversal capacities to integrate this continuous learning process in our lives, and also the awareness raising, because in many cases what we see is that there is no sufficient knowledge of what the new technologies can do for your sector and for your activities, and this is a key, a basic key. So this is my opinion in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you. So Silvia, maybe you want to follow?
Sorry, I was muted.
Mm-mm.
More or less the same that I have commented before. Yes, the main action is to let them know what are the benefits, not probably at the short term, but in the mid or even long term. What are the benefits of integrating all these technologies into the sector, and of course to try to train the people, and to, in the case of the construction sector, the thing is that most of the people, you and many people, think that it is a very hard work, so and very traditional. So the challenge is to let them know, especially the younger and the women, that the sector can also be modern, can be innovative. But of course, this is something that we have to do step by step. It's not from one day
Sure.
for another. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Silvia. Walterio, your conclusions from the fence and your experience?
Yeah, in general, the technology is evolving at very fast pace. But when things evolve, we have to stop and study. That's the only thing to be done in order to mate with the evolution. But no one has time, and our decisions without studying are weak.
Yeah, Jakub.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, we have touched this topic, of course, through this webinar, but from my perspective and from the perspective that we are building is to rather build the ecosystem that is able to handle this continuous upskilling, reskilling, and of course have there these aspects that we do not have to stop, because it's very hard to stop at the end of the day, because technology is evolving, and I don't know if we will be able to stop it. And basically to have this continuous collaboration on that and identification of the skills intelligence and the needs there, and integrate more also the training providers and the education side into that. And that's what we are also of course trying to do, and what is our aim in those Pact for Skills, in this sustainable work within the ecosystem. So that's something that we need to continuously, and we need to create ecosystem on the overall for this massive upskilling, reskilling activities on the overall European level. But as said, the changes are happening in the regions and on the regional level. And we have to, as I have said in my previous intervention, we have to collaborate and find those transversal skills and job roles that, of course, following, and that's just the big note, following the specifics of each sector, but anyhow collaborate on that level, so that we really are readable and clear also for the industry and training providers at the end of the day. So the collaboration is the key, and the continuous and pragmatic collaboration with of course following all these pillars that I have said. So that would be my concluding remarks.
Yeah, okay. So Adelaide, you want to add something, or if you want to conclude?
Yes, Paula, thank you very much. So from our side, also I have to agree with Jakub. So we need to guarantee collaboration and building an alliance between the different sectors. And we have been doing, we try also to achieve this goal in SAM through the establishment of the European Observatory that brings together not only the education experts and organizations and policymakers, but also from the other side, the industrial representative and experts. And that's a challenge to keep this systematic collaboration between these two worlds that seem sometimes so distant. But we are working on this, and that's the key. It's to foster this collaboration and to start with younger generation, showing the advantages of the technologies, and of course training, as we are, as it is our mission in our blueprints, is to foster education, foster the development of skills. So I think that this is what is required to be done.
Okay, thank you. I think it was a nice closer, and I thank you very much for your participation today. I think we need to continue, and I'm seriously saying that from as a SAM representative, but also as a person, as a society here in Europe. So I offered you an idea that I have. Let's create a live event maybe next year, somewhere, someplace lively, where we can touch, we can involve our networks, we can debate more time, and we can discuss and also establish like a kind of list of actions to be done, because we are very much aligned, and it shouldn't stop in one webinar. It should be continued, and we probably can add more blueprints or more actions there, and even societal representatives to let them know that we have to hurry up to train our new generations and as well the current ones. So thank you very much for participating. Now we will happily share with you the feedback survey, so we can give us some points of what you thought about this webinar and how to improve it. If you can please all participate, it's also in the chat, the link. You can check it there. And we also want to invite you to the next webinar that we are doing on regards the certification, standardization and qualification in the industrial sectors, where we need especially your participation on the industries that are dealing with your projects or your network. So we were very much willing then to come precisely because of that. We want to try to make our system together with your systems more close to the real industrial needs, and for that we need the participation. If well, we will be promoting very much this, but on the next this webinar will be held 24 November, so still we have time, and we will welcome you as all to participate. So that's all from my side and Sam's side. I again want to thank you very much, participants and speakers. It has been a pleasure, and I will be very much tackling you back, convincing of coming back together at some point. You can also as well follow us in SAM in LinkedIn, in Twitter, and in YouTube channel, where we will be sharing this webinar. I also share with you the Twitters of the projects that were involved here. Well, have a nice weekend to all. Thank you to have you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Well, maybe we can stop recording.